What's up YouTube, Pokemon here and welcome back to the channel. Now I know it's been a little while since I've uploaded, but I'm back and ready to discuss all things Pokemon again, and it's a crazy market right now, specifically for Sword and Shield, as we're seeing Evolving Skies hit £3,000 on eBay per booster box, which is absolutely wild. The rest of Sword and Shield is also following in that suit with almost 40 to 50% increase in price over the last month. So we're going to discuss all the things going on with Sword and Shield. And then at the end, I'm going to discuss whether I think Sword and Shield is still worth investing in, even at these insane prices, and give my kind of overall view on the situation. So that's what the plan is for today's video. And let's get into the giveaway. So guys, if you're new around here, you might not be aware that I'm actually giving away a 151 booster bundle away absolutely free on my channel once it reaches 1,000 subscribers. Now, it's super easy to enter. All you have to do is, of course, 1, be subscribed, and then 2, drop a like and a comment on this video right here. Now, it has to be this video because I'll be using a random comment picker on this video to choose the winner, and the winner will be decided after 1,000 subscribers have been hit, and you could be walking away with this 151 booster bundle, so make sure you don't miss out and get involved. Okay, guys, so let's take a look at Evolving Skies here, first of all, from the Sword and Shield era, which, like I said in the start, has been taking off big time. We can see in the last 3 months, 22% up 20% in the last month, and prices are just seeming to go up and up and up recently. The last week or so has just seen the whole of Sword and Shield just go pretty crazy. But the UK prices actually don't reflect the US prices here on TCG Player. As you guys know, this is a UK-focused market channel, but I do like to use TCG Player for the price charting. I think the UI is quite easy to digest and quite easy to use, so that's why I use that. But we will look at eBay, which is pretty much what determines the UK market over here. And yeah, we can see some crazy prices here. So up until a few days ago, there was no Evolving Skies booster boxes, full booster boxes on eBay for less than $3,000, maybe like 2.9, 2.8, but they all just randomly went from 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 up to 3K. I don't know what happened, if there were some massive buyouts on eBay or there was some kind of insider decision to make all of the boxes on eBay 3K, but that did happen. And then we started to see a lot of these other boxes, the half booster boxes and more Evolving Skies booster boxes get listed, obviously because people are seeing that the regular booster box is 3K. They're like, holy shit, I've got a bunch of these half booster boxes that I can sell for like nearly 1,500, which is what they were listed at yesterday or the day before. People capitalizing on that. Absolutely, why not? I actually am selling a half booster box on eBay myself. So yeah, anyway, the prices have kind of come down from that weird 3K kind of mark where everything was, but now they're kind of sitting around 1,900 to 2K, which is still a massive jump from where they were a week ago, which is more like 1,300, 1,400 kind of area. And we're seeing half booster boxes at around 900 to 1,000, full booster boxes at around 1,900 to 2K, across the board 2K, 2K, 4.5K, I don't know why, but 2.5K. And yeah, like I said, a massive increase in Evolving Skies. And I do think this set is still undervalued, guys. This is the best modern set in history. And it was always going to hit these prices. It was just a matter about when. Not if, not anything else, just when. And it's starting to increase. Now, why are we seeing the 20% increases over the last week? What's caused this massive boom? And I do think it is due to a couple of things. The first thing is that, Evolving Skies aside, stuff like Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars, those booster boxes were sitting around 200 to 250 about a week ago. And we're seeing Scarlet and Violet era boxes at sort of similar price. Like Surging Sparks is at 200, Paldea Evolved is at 200, Destined Rivals on pre-order is at 200, which will probably come down. We'll discuss that later. But I think a lot of people are starting to realize, why would I be buying these in-print sets for £200 when I can buy an out-of-print set in Sword and Shield for £200? And there seems to have been this kind of market-wide agreement that Sword and Shield now needs to be bought out, and that's kind of what's happened. And I think, yeah, another thing is that these sets are still undervalued, like I said. And I think it just took a little bit of time for people to realize that. When we saw the massive boom in Sword and Shield boxes towards the end of 2024 and the start of 2025, remember, Fusion Strike had just just run out on the Pokemon Center. Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest, they were still on the Pokemon Center. So it was just coming into that area where it was just coming out of print. And when they came off the Pokemon Center, people were like, shit, I need to buy them, because they knew that when it had sold out on the Pokemon Center, it was going to be bought out on the secondary market like eBay. And that's when we started to see a massive price increase towards the end. Now, it did cool off. And obviously the reason for that is that's kind of typical market pattern where prices go up and up and up. People see a point where they're like, okay, I'm happy to sell at 450. People will start selling at 450. That will hit the top of the price, and people will start to undercut. So you'll sell 450 at the peak. Then someone will be like, okay, I want to get 440, 430. And it's just kind of a race down a little bit. Then it will get to a point where people are like, oh, wait, it's come down a lot from when it was at the peak at 450. It's now 380, 370. I'm going to buy. And then people buy, goes back up again. It maybe eclipses 450, runs up to like 560, 700. People start to sell again. And we get this kind of wavy, I don't know how to call it like peaks and troughs pattern on the graph, which is kind of what you can see. So, we saw a little bit of a run up here to $1,400. People are like, okay, I think I can sell here. There was maybe a couple sales, but it did stagnate here around 1,400, some sales at 1,400. Then people were like, wait, this is still undervalued. Let's buy it. Sell, buy, sell. And we kind of see this pattern, continue out throughout, the 6 month to 1 year graph. Buy, sell, buy, sell, run up, sell, because it's so high at this point here. People like sell, and then it runs up again because people think it's undervalued, or they just want to buy more. And that's kind of what we see. And we will see that across all of the boxes we'll look at today. But Evolving Skies, obviously a bit of an anomaly, just a crazy run up. And yeah, such an amazing set. But I am taking profits now because, it'd be stupid not to. Okay, so let's look at Fusion Strike. I mean, it's a similar graph. We're up 50% on Fusion Strike in the last week, in the last month. Which makes sense because the set is, again, like I said, the set is completely undervalued. It is an incredible set. And it was what, $350 a week ago? That is really cheap for a set like this. It's out of print. It's got an amazing chase card. It's got a good set value. It's not just carried by the Gengar on its own. It's got the Mew, it's got the Espeon, it's got the Celebi, which are all amazing cards, and it deserves to be a 500, 600, 700 pound box, which it will eventually get to. And again, I think Evolving Skies aside, if you look at these more affordable boxes, they are just undervalued. And it's reflecting in the market that people are seeing that these boxes need to be bought out, and buying them at 350 was a good play. I struggle to spend that money on a box, but if you have the capital, then it's not a bad play at all. So yeah, like I said, in the last month, we've seen a 50% increase, which is just insane. 700, was the last sell? 2 items sold at $830, which is crazy. Over here, we're not quite hitting the £800 mark, but we are starting to see 560, 500, where it was a week ago, it was in the 350s. I think it was around 350. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure. And yeah, we started to see them up to 500 now on Fusion Strike. Again, like I said, the reason for this is that, a lot of these Scarlet and Violet sets are hard to come by now. They're running out instantly. Destined Rivals is impossible to buy. Prismatic is impossible to buy. And I think a lot of people want to be buying product, and they're going to be putting it into the next best thing they can find, and that is Sword and Shield. Couple that with the fact that it's undervalued, couple it with the fact that it's out of print. It makes sense why these prices are going crazy. It's just weird that it happened all at one go. I don't know how that happens, but I would have expected to see more of a gradual increase. But yeah, I mean, Fusion Strike deserves to be at 500, and it's a great set. Now, something that people don't talk about a lot, and it's lost. It's Crown Zenith, man. This set is it's probably one of the best sets in Sword and Shield, barring Evolving Skies and maybe Fusion Strike. I think it's better than Lost Origin, and we can see it reflected here with just a slow increase over the past few years. 140 in the last 6 months, 200%. And look, it's that graph that I told you about earlier. It's out of print. Well, actually, it has had a couple of reprints recently, but it's mostly out of print. And we just see people, people sell and buy and sell and buy. They think, oh, $70, I'm going to sell that. Sell. Oh, it's quite low now. I'm going to buy it. Buy. Oh, it's $100. I'm going to sell now. Sell. Oh, it's $90. I'm going to buy it. And then it's a race to the top with this kind of stuff. And we're at that golden era of Crown Zenith, especially in the UK, where it's just going to slowly start to increase. And at £150, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. If you wanted to buy Crown Zenith, I'm not upset with that. Of course, you can get a booster box of Scarlet and Violet for £150. So you maybe need to weigh up your options here. But Crown Zenith is such an amazing set. And I still don't think it's hit its real appreciation in the community. Now, if we look at Crown Zenith, and I know this is a bit of a stupid comparison, but 151 for the Scarlet and Violet era, the booster boxes are at £200, and these have not even hit their peak yet. So there's no reason why Crown Zenith can't also, follow in the footsteps of 151 and hit those £200, £300 per booster per Elite Trainer box. Definitely seeable in the future. Incredible set, and definitely one to keep your eye on. I do think there is legs for this. I mean, £115 for this. Slight tear in the seal. Maybe you don't want that, but still a good price. Okay, so Lost Origin, again, we're seeing similar things to what we've seen with Fusion Strike, up 36%. Now this one, it hasn't really had many sales, but it's just climbing. It's climbing. Again, it's an undervalued set. The Giratina does a lot of the legwork for this set. The set value isn't massive, but again, the Giratina just does a lot. And we're seeing here 480, 490. It hasn't quite hit the 500 mark yet again, but it's still an incredible set. Yeah, there's not much to say. I mean, these sets should be at 500. They are all undervalued. They should be around that 500 mark. They're out of print. Sword and Shield era, amazing chase cards, low pull rates. They all have great things going for them. And if you're looking at these prices thinking, wow, how did these prices get so high? This is where they should be. They were undervalued. They're under market. And this is where they should be. If you didn't buy, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever, then you might have missed the boat here. And again, Astral Radiance, we're seeing the same thing here. Astral Radiance up 77%. Now, why are these up more? And I think it's quite clear that these sets are a lot cheaper than Fusion Strike and Lost Origin, and there's better buying points. They're now at £300. This is where your mind should be looking. I know they're not as strong as Fusion Strike and Lost Origin, but these sets do have the capacity to get to that £500, £600 mark in the future, and they're not as appreciated as those other sets, but they still have a lot of room to grow. And I think that these could be a potential good play if you have the capital to spend £300 on a box. You don't have to buy out the whole of the Astral Radiance market on the secondary market. You don't have to buy all the boxes, but if you wanted to make some positions in some of these lower Sword and Shield sets like Astral Radiance, like Silver Tempest, which is at 350, like Brilliant Stars, which is at 350, then it's not a terrible idea. Again, Brilliant Stars up 50% in the last month, crazy price growth, but justified. These sets are amazing. Sword and Shield era is amazing, and these are where the prices of these sets should be at this moment in time. I do think they've been undervalued, and I do think they've risen to a point where they should be. So having a look at all of these, I don't have the price chart for Silver Tempest. Let's just grab that quickly because I didn't show you Silver Tempest, but it should just be kind of similar. Yeah, I mean, up 30%. Between 30 and 50% we're seeing for these boxes. Silver Tempest is an interesting one because the set sucks apart from the Lugia. The Lugia carries it. But the trainer gallery stuff, I think this set has a trainer gallery, if I remember correctly. All of these sets of trainer galleries are really actually quite incredible. The trainer gallery stuff cards are amazing, especially in Brilliant Stars. You've got the Umbreon. I think you have some of the evolutions in these other sets as well, which are not to be laughed at. They are very strong cards, and I think they are undervalued in themselves. So yeah, it's a bit of a crazy time for Sword and Shield. Now, I kind of wanted to discuss whether I think the boat has been missed for Sword and Shield and whether I think it's a good time to invest in it. Now, it's never a good idea to chase a rising investment opportunity. Usually you want to try and buy before the boom, before the prices increase. And I do think that's the same here with Sword and Shield. I do think that potentially there is maybe an argument to say some of these lesser booster box, an argument there to say we could pick these up. I don't think it's necessarily a terrible idea. However, when you think about the opportunity costs that you might be losing when spending £350 on a booster box, when you could get 2, potentially 3 booster boxes of Destined Rivals, Surging Sparks, Black and White, the new set coming out, I do think that the time is Scarlet and Violet. And if we look at some of the Scarlet and Violet sets, like Surging Sparks, for me, this set is better than all of the Sword and Shield sets, bar Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies, and Crown Zenith. I think it's better than Lost Origin. I think it's better than Astral Radiance. I think it's better than Silver Tempest. It's better than Brilliant Stars. And you can still get it quite regularly on eBay for a lot cheaper than all those sets, half the price of those sets. For a short-term play, yes, you might see more gains in the Sword and Shield sets because they are out of print, and they will probably rise more in the future. But on a long-term idea, I do think Scarlet and Violet is the best thing to do right now, Scarlet and Violet. And I would be focusing personally on 4 sets. I'd be focusing on Surging Sparks, Destined Rivals, Prismatic Evolutions, and the new Black Bolt and White Flare, because I do think those are 4 of the strongest sets within Scarlet and Violet. And that's kind of what I'm focusing on at the moment. I do love Sword and Shield, and I wish I had more, but I can't justify catching a rising rocket, especially with the prices right now. I'm lucky to have a decent amount of Sword and Shield from before, but that's not where I'm putting my money anymore. I'm putting my money into Scarlet and Violet, like Surging Sparks, Destined Rivals. Now, obviously, the prices for these were insane on pre-release, but they are starting to come down. The set obviously releases in about 9 days. I think it releases on the 30th of May, so it's not even out yet, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of product to be picking up and available around the country. You just have to go out and try and find it. For Destined Rivals, I would be looking at both the booster boxes and the ETBs. Now, this is one of the nicest ETBs ever printed. It's so iconic. It's got Giovanni, it's got Mewtwo, that rocket symbol on there. It is an extremely collectible item. I do think these regular ETBs will get eaten up so much. So there's a good chance that the supply of these does run out quite thin. I think also similarly, in terms of artwork, I do really love the White Flare and the Black Bolt. They are a collector's item. They go together so well. And I am picking up as many Black Bolt, White Flare ETBs as I can. I'm trying to pick up as many Destined Rivals ETBs as I can, as many Destined Rivals booster boxes as I can, and as many Surging Sparks booster boxes as I can. Of course, Prismatic Evolution speaks for itself. We don't need to talk about that set. It is the best set ever printed in modern history, apart from maybe Evolving Skies. It's on par. So if you can get Prismatic Evolutions, then obviously get that. But for the sake of, Prismatic Evolutions aside, it's all about these sets. Personally, that's my opinion. It's not financial advice. Do your own research. But that's where I'm at with that. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I just wanted to discuss kind of Boom and Sword and Shield and kind of discuss what's happening with that and whether I think it's investable at the moment, which obviously, as I've said, I don't think it's investable right now. I think for me, I can't justify spending, £2,000 on a booster box. In fact, I'm selling my own booster box of Evolving Skies because I want to put it back into Scarlet and Violet. I think there is so much room for growth with these sets. And another thing I didn't mention actually is that Scarlet and Violet is being cut short in terms of the era. So usually we get 12 core sets, I think it is, but we're only getting 10 for Scarlet and Violet. So it's a shorter era, which means there's going to be less product, which means it might be one of the shortest printed eras in modern Pokemon history, which means that the prices of these sets will become much more expensive than what we're seeing for stuff like Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars. The room for growth for me, I just see a higher ceiling for Scarlet and Violet than I do for Sword and Shield. And if you share the same sentiment as me, then you will want to be investing in Scarlet and Violet as much as possible. Like I said, for me, Surging Sparks, Destined Rivals, Black and White, and Prismatic Evolutions, I don't think you can go really wrong with those. And that's where I would be putting my money if I was me, and I am me, so that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's been a little while since I've uploaded, so it's nice to be back making videos, and I hope to be as consistent as I can. But yeah, please drop a like, drop a comment, drop a follow, drop a subscription. It really does help me out. Let me know in the comments what you think of my opinions, if you picked up any Surging Sparks, if you picked up any Scarlet and Violet, any Sword and Shield, what you think of the price rises, if it's scaring you or if it's something you think is investable. I could be wrong, you never know. Challenge me. But yeah, that's all from me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.